Hey you guys. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys real quick today about generational wealth, right? And to be honest with you, like, this is something that I just recently, probably the last couple of years, started thinking about. Let me get my coffee. And the older that my son gets, the more like I'm having to make sure he understands financial, like he's financially literate. So he does, even if I do make a whole bunch of money and I have all these businesses and things, if something end up happening to me later, like obviously one day I'm a, transition, I'm a pass and go to the other side. So if I leave him with all of this money, all these resources, then he don't really know how to manage it, then he's gonna, like, there is no generational wealth. Like, it just stops from him. So since he's 11, I started teaching him I think last year, not too long ago, about allowance. Like, he would get allowance, but it's really more like now I teach him how to get his money and that he cannot spend all his money at one time, because you need to have some spending money, some savings, and then investing. So at 11, he knows about investing his money. He knows what stocks and dividends are. He knows that we don't buy stocks. Like, I buy stocks when it's in the red. So I show him on the apps and things that I use to buy stocks. I show my son how I pick them, or how I like my logic behind it. I explain to him, and so I was showing him, I'm like, okay, this how much money I got in this. And it's easy with Robinhood, because Robinhood is like, it's just an app, and so he's a kid and he plays on video games, so to him it's like the same kind of visual. It's not overwhelming to him to understand, like, oh, this is how you press the button, you buy another stock, it says buy, sell, or trade. So I show him that so he can understand, like, oh, the habits will basically be instilled in him long term. It won't be something that I gotta wait until he, almost grown, and like, okay, this is a checking account, this is how you use the checking account. Like, no, when it comes down to teaching kids, and even for adults, like, if we just give them a little bit every day or a little bit at a time over the course of a couple of years, by the time he turns 18, he'll have a better understanding and a better, a better understanding of how finances work. So another thing that I do for him is, my son has a debit card, and not from my bank. So I bank with USAA and I bank with Capital One now, and I also have a Navy Fed account, and so he can have, and a Fidelity, but anyways, he can have an account with any of those companies. And he has a USAA account, and I think his dad has him a Navy Fed account, and my mom does too. So anyways, he has several checking accounts, but I got him a kid's checking account because I wanted him to have his debit card, and I want to be able to teach him how to manage his money. And when a kid have like their own money, and you say, okay, well, you can have that candy, but you need to spend your own money on it, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna think twice about, do they really want to spend, the $2 or $3 on this candy, or do they want to keep it so they can buy, like for him, he want to buy a skin on Roblox, not Roblox, but on Fortnite, or he might want to buy some Robux, or he might want to buy, a Transformer or something like that. So yeah, you can buy it if you have enough money, but there's still, like, I explained to him, even if you got money to spend, like, I pay him with his debit card. This is another thing I like about the debit card. So it's a Greenlight Kids card. You guys may or may not have heard about it, but the Greenlight Kids card, what it does is it lets you have you're attached to it, as the parent is attached to it. And then, sorry guys, the car passing. The parent is attached to it, and then you get an app, and then the kid get an app as well. So Braylon has his own phone, so I was like, okay, well, download the app so you can see how, your money is. And so the app lets him download, he can look and see, okay, I have this amount of money in they have a separate categories, and one of them is like spend anywhere, one of them is savings, and one of them is giving or charity. And so for him, since he is, and it splits it up 50, 30, 20, so he can get in the habit of understanding that just because you have $1 don't mean you spend the whole $1. So now he understands, well, if I have $1, I really only get to spend 50 cents of it. And even if I can spend 50 cents, I really should only spend about 25 cents. Like, I have been trying to explain that to him, because he had started doing this, like spending a lot of his money and then not having enough money for later on in the week. And I say, well, that's because as soon as you get your money, you spend the whole thing. Like, if you only spend half of it, then you'll still have half, and then the next time you get paid, you can spend half of that. And then like I was just trying to break it down to him so he can understand that he'll always have money if he don't spend it all the time as soon as he get it. Another thing that I started teaching him was that you can spend money on games and stuff like that, but if those games aren't bringing you any money back in return, then let's not spend so much money on it. And so he's learning like the business part of it is as far as me trying to teach him like, okay, you can spend money, but is that money gonna make you any money? And so just teaching him and having that app makes it a lot easier for me to kind of instill these little nuggets throughout his life so he can kind of understand like when he get older, he don't have to be around here financially struggling because he doesn't really understand how money works. And I think that's a big part of generational wealth. Like, yeah, we can be out here making all these millions and stuff, but we end up dying and we left our kids out here with no sense of direction when it comes to their finances. And then they end up blowing the money in debt, you know, and then they might end up suicidal and depressed because they at one point had all of this money and now they don't. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys. Like, if you have a kid and, you know, it don't have to be no big ordeal, but just try to start teaching them how to manage their money. So a couple of my friends, their kids don't get allowances. Now my son get allowance. I have one kid, so me and his dad pretty much co-parent. We do pretty well with co-parenting. So what I have started doing was giving him a portion of the child support that his dad sends for him, and so he gets a portion of it, and then that's his allowance. Now his dad also gives him money if he does like something good or if he does well on his assignments. I don't pay for good grades on assignments. I pay for like if you do more than what I expect you to do. I used to pay him for good grades like when he was in school and you got straight A's, like maybe, yeah, but now we're at homeschool and no, I don't pay for that, but I will like pay him to like do stuff around the house, like clean up or cut the grass and stuff like that. But his money, like if you don't pay your kid an allowance, then they just really have to learn how to budget the money that they do get when they get it. And I think that that's also a good way too, because then they don't know when they're gonna get no money again, so they have to really pay attention to how they're gonna spend it. So my son, in his head, he knows like every Friday he gonna get $20-something around there. It may be more if he cut the grass, and so he is dependent on that, or he's expecting, I should say that. But if I was only giving him money on like holidays or special occasions, then he would have to be even more like, what's the word, like disciplined with his money. But I was just sitting there thinking like, you know, yeah, I might be able to create all these businesses and, you know, leave the resources that I make, pass them down to my son and all of that stuff. But if I don't teach him how to manage it, he gonna blow it, like, period. That's what happens with people that, you know, they win the lottery and then the next thing you know, they broke again in a couple years. It's because they never really had the training to manage that type of money. And then you have bad habits. If you got money sitting in a checking account, like I was listening to some rappers one time, I can't remember what the song was, and this was like years ago, but around the time where I started paying more attention to what people say, because then like people language, it tells a lot about them. So when they talking about I got this amount of money in the bank account in the song, now I'm like, oh, you don't know how to manage your money, because if money in the bank account, that ain't where it's making no money for you at, you know. Like I know that, and I'm not a millionaire yet. Like I will be a billionaire. That's in my, like, I feel that in my soul. So it's already there. I just got to get to it. But when I hear people say certain things like bank accounts and my savings account, I'm just like, nah, them ain't the right words that, you know, that I need to be associating with. And there's nothing wrong with you having money in your checking account, but my checking account normally is like at like zero or like a bare minimum account, because I want my money to go to work. Like I'm trying to get everybody out the house, and the bank account is the house. So you don't need to be in the house. You need to be out here getting his work so you can bring more of you back. But if we don't teach our kids the simple things, like I say, just even if you don't have the app, like the app is free. What I like about the Greenlight app is, like, let's just say you have a kid and it's your kid's birthday and they aunties and stuff want to send them some money. They don't have to send the money to you. It's a link, and I think it's greenlight.com/gift. and you can put the kids' information in, and it'll send the kid the money to their account. And I think that's the coolest thing, because now you don't have to like have, you know, Cash App is cool, but if you want a debit card for your kid, like Cash App, or if you want to teach your kid financial responsibility, Cash App is not going to separate the money for you. It is a free way to get like funds directed to you. And I do think a checking account is good for like when they turn 18. But if you at the beginning, like I would prefer for my kid to kind of ease them into a checking account and like start instilling those skills that they're gonna need to really learn how to manage their money. And because it's a skill, like you need to start teaching them that early so they can continue to practice it. And by the time they get 18, 19 years old, you know, they're making mistakes, but they're not making the same mistakes because they done had a lot of time to work through the process. But I think if you, another thing with the Greenlight card that I do like, if your kid is working, and this is what I'm gonna try, but my plan is to create Braylon a business. And the easiest business that I can see creating for him is gonna be YouTube, and create his business, and then he gets paid, he'll be able to get paid to Greenlight because they have a direct deposit option for the kids. Now you do have to call Greenlight and have them email you the form for the direct deposit form or whatever, but they'll email you the direct deposit form, and you'll get a routing number and an account number. But for me, like as a parent, even though I'm paying Braylon an allowance now, I don't want to use that word later. I want to pay him his paycheck, because if you have or have not heard of Lynn Richardson, I think it's it's either Richardson or Richards, but I think it's Richardson, but she speaks about this all the time as far as teaching your kids financial responsibility to pay, and for yourself when it comes to your taxes, that we can write about $12,400 off if you have your own business. So I have my own business, and let's just say, for example, my business is Kiafa.com, or my Kiafa as a whole. We'll just say, or a YouTube channel, because YouTube is the business. And so you can say, I'm the owner of the Kiafa channel on YouTube, right? And I want to pay Braylon as my editor, or if I need him to go online and find me different images, because he knows how to do that. And that's what I like about the homeschooling part, because the homeschooling teaches him like how to be a lot more comfortable with the computer. So he knows how to go in and look into his email, reset his password. So I taught him how to go look for images, and I can pay him to do that. Instead of giving him an allowance, so to speak, I can start paying him to do video editing, or to do some type of, you know, creative work, and that he knows how, that's age appropriate for him. Because like I said, these kids, they grew up with these computers, so it's a lot of stuff that they already know how to do. We just have to kind of like shape it, say, okay, well, yeah, you can do that, but I want you to go and find me an image off of Google, or I want you to go and find me this, and I'm gonna use this as my thumbnail, or can you take my picture, you know, like make sure that I'm, you know, in centered and stuff like that. So he can record and he can take pictures, and I can pay him for that. And the more his skills evolve, the more he gets older, I can start paying him more for different things. So to make a long story short, I can pay him for his skills, and I can send that money direct deposit to Greenlight, and then at the end of the year, instead of me paying him an allowance, I would have paid him a wage. And because he's under 18, I don't have to pay employee. I don't have to pay for like workman's comp and all that stuff, because he's my kid, so you can hire your own kids. And for two, he's under 18, so he doesn't have to report anything. It's all tax-free for him, and for me, it's a tax write-off. And so that's one way that I'm working towards, pretty much. That's one thing that I'm working on myself. But I do like the fact that Greenlight has that option, so when I do figure out how to convert me paying Braylon for his services, then I could still do it the same way, but I would be taking it from out of my business checking account and paying him to his personal Greenlight account. And once he gets older, I'll help him transition things from Greenlight over to his adult account, like a USAA or something like that account, or a Navy Fed account. But until then, this is perfect, because it teaches the kids how to manage their money, and it gives you a way to kind of like give them freedom, but at the same time make sure that they are, you know, you can still monitor them at the same time. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. It's just, you know, let's make sure that our kids are financially prepared, because it's gonna be a sad thing if you do well and you create all of these businesses and your kids sitting around here like blowing the money, you know what I'm saying? Like all the money gone. And I see it happening with adults. So for me, I'm just now kind of really getting into the habits of, you know, making sure that my finances are straight. Like I had to practice it, and it's not something that I learned in my, you know, earlier years. I mean, even if I did know to save money, or if I knew about stocks, I had the knowledge that I have now was nowhere near what I had back then. And it really did take me to change the way that I was looking at my self, to be like, okay, you need to be on your, like, you need to do a little bit better with this. There's no reason that you get a large lump sum of money and then the money is gone. Like, where is the money going? And so now I know that I don't do well with money sitting in checking accounts or savings accounts. Like that debit, that swipe, that's no good for me. So I need to put it somewhere that I can't get to it. And then it just make you think a little bit more like, oh, do I really need this? Or do I really, you know, should I be purchasing this, or should I wait? And, you know, just think, it just makes me think a little bit more. But I wanted to just talk to you guys about just creating generational wealth, and why you really kind of need to make sure you bring your kids on board. And a lot of people get embarrassed. They don't want to show their kids the money and the finances, but don't be embarrassed. Like, I ain't saying like go see your kids and be complaining about, you know, mommy's poor. Like, don't do that, you know. But at the same time, like, even if you don't have a lot of money, you can still show them how you pay your rent and how you pay your car note, if you have a car note. And like, my son knows why we don't have a car. Like, I explained to him, I was like, we can get a car and stuff like that if I really wanted to, but if we do this, then we can buy more of these. So I just talked to him so he can understand, like, and I also tell him, like, I didn't always know these things. So because I didn't always know this, and now I'm learning it, I want to teach you so you can learn earlier than what I did. And so he understands, and I want you guys to kind of just start instilling like small things. And when they go to the store, like, make sure they pay with their own money. Have them earn some money. If you can't afford allowance, I understand that. Just start trying to pay them to do things that you would pay other people to do. Like, I don't have a yard man anymore. Braylon cuts the grass. I help him, so I don't pay him the same amount that I would pay the yard man. I would pay my yard man like $40-45. And so Braylon gets $20, but that's because I have to help him. So if I got to help him, he doesn't get the full amount. But it's just those type of things. Like, try to find ways that you can give them money so they can learn the responsibility. Because if they're not understanding that trend, like how that money moves, and they're just gonna be adults, and then by the time they get to a certain age, it's gonna be harder for them to learn these lessons, or they're gonna lose more money, and that's not gonna really help the whole generational wealth, like what I'm trying to say, objective. Like, my goal is to have generational wealth, like multiple generational wealth, not just, okay, I got a whole bunch of money and then Braylon might live good while he's a kid, but when I pass on, he blow the money because he got bad money management skills and habits, and I never took the time to teach him because I was too caught up doing whatever else in my life. To me, that's too much of a chance. Like, I don't want to risk that. So he's 11. If you have little kids, just start like doing small stuff. It don't have to be like a whole ordeal. Like, we have to change everything, everybody. Like, don't make it so big. Just do a little bit at a time. Get the debit card, put a couple of dollars on it, and then start teaching them, like, okay, well, you got $5. If you go buy something, can you make more money with that money? Like, how can you make more? How can you get another $5 with the $5 you already got? You don't know. Well, we need to figure out how you can make more money. If you only have $5, how can we turn this $5 into $10? And then how can we turn this $10 into $20? And that's the type of stuff that I, you know, like a small steps, not nothing that's gonna overwhelm them. And obviously, you know, different kids have different comprehensions and at different ages, so make it age appropriate. And then they have games online for you to teach like your kids money things. I think Dave Ramsey has one, and then Derek Grace II has the family game. It's a couple of different games out there to teach the kids finances. But if you don't teach your kids finances, by the time they get into high school and and college, they may get out and go to college and end up getting all these credit cards because, you know, they broke and they ain't never really had no money, and now they can get credit cards, and then they're saying, you know, they $30,000 in debt and consumer debt on top of student loan debt. So I think it's our responsibility as parents to not only learn financial, you know, have a financial literacy for ourselves, but we have to teach it to our kids because they're not going to learn it in school. It's not a course. Economics don't teach you how to budget. None of that stuff really is taught in school. So if you don't learn it in school, you're just not going to learn it like without messing up. It's going to be a lot of losses because life is going to teach you about your money. Whether you learn it in school or not, life is going to teach you because we need our money. We have to have food. We have to have shelter. And so, and all those things cost money. And in order to be able to live a comfortable life, you need to make sure you got enough money to eat and sleep, you know, comfortably. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm going to go because I'm cold now. But I wanted to just talk to you guys about generational wealth because I do see some people making some really like not bad mistakes, but it's the same. It's the same. Their kids are gonna end up making the same mistakes, or the people around them won't really learn anything. Not learn anything, I shouldn't say that, but like it's kind of one of those things where if your mom and them teaching you, if your mama's teaching you one way or your grandma and them taught you something, you think that that's the way that it's supposed to be, and instead of going and doing your own research, you just kind of continue down the same pattern, and then next thing you know, your kids, you know, doing shit with money. They don't really know how to manage their money, and so then you frustrated because you like, oh, this and that and the third, but you never taught them how to manage their money. So I think it's on us to teach our kids, and if we don't, like, it's gonna lead to a generation of repeated brokenness. Like, that's what you're gonna leave past. So anyways, you guys, that's all I got for you. I'll catch you on the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all ain't talking to me in these comments. Let me know what's going on, like what happened. So I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.